and corporates will never ever deny you. I mean, if you think it like this whole Wodemaya debate that's happening on social media right now, he has proof of concept. You know, he has the numbers, he has the data, he actually has, he can show you a document that says, listen, this is how I can actually convert, because corporates are looking for conversion. It's not just to be out there. So even if you have 1 million viewers and whatnot, the issue with corporates is that they want actual conversion, not just views.
What's good, Chichi?
I hear that a lot. You'd be shocked how often I hear that.
How often do you hear that?
I hear almost every time someone sees me and they haven't seen me in a long time.
Yeah.
Or at the beginning of an interview. I get that, but what's good?
Yeah, it's a chilling good. Okay, for those who don't know your real name, it's Masego Mohwasa.
Yes, Masego Mohwasa, yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, how are you?
I'm doing alright.
Yeah, welcome to the 20th on your podcast.
Finally, yes.
Yeah. After scheduling and rescheduling
it's been
forgetting.
busy couple of weeks, months actually. It's been a very hectic couple.
Yeah, I know, because I saw you in SA with Big Stars, but like
yes, it's been quite an interesting quarter. It's not a quarter, it's the final quarter, but it's been an interesting couple of months. I've been balancing a couple of things and I am fatigued. I'm from napping before I came here because I was like, I'm going to fall asleep during an interview if I don't.
No, there's an interesting space where you hardly wink, like you hardly fall asleep.
Yeah. There's no time to rest.
No, there's no time to rest. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Okay, so just start off by giving us a brief background about you. We know you're into film and stuff like that. Something like an influencer, something like a socialite, and something like a slay queen.
I know. Yeah. No, nobody thinks I'm a slay queen. That's a new one. But yes, Masego Mohwasa is a filmmaker. In the general sense of the word. Right now, I think foremost, I work as head of content and partnerships at YTV Botswana.
Okay.
But I also do productions for my production company called 27 Pictures. We do ads, TV shows, film. We just wrapped on a production for Mnet, which is very, very, very exciting. Movies coming together. We're in post-production right now, and I'm so happy with how it's turning out. It's the first time actually I've ever been happy with how the final picture looks and how the story comes together. So it's very, very exciting. Sometimes I do presenting, but unfortunately now my work doesn't afford me the luxury. I miss it. For me, presenting is the fun side of film because the other side is like more stressful and like you have to think a lot and stuff. But I've taken a break from presenting, but that's part of the stuff that I do.
Because the first time I saw you in MC at an event.
Jesus, what year was that? That was when I was still discovering myself. It has to be. It can't be in the 2020s. Oh my god.
It was DJ Easy's event.
I remember. That's when I was even training at FM at the time. And I was still trying to figure out what kind of creator, what kind of storyteller I am. You know, am I a radio, TV, am I an MC? What kind of MC am I if at all I am? I was still trying to find my voice, and I think from that event I realized, I'm not a hype person. When I'm working, I like very chill out things.
Because by then I was like, who's this chick, bro? Like, I've never seen this chick, bro. Like, she's killing it on the stage. So I'm actually shocked when you're like...
I was shifted. No.
Okay. So you mentioned that you have a film that will be playing on Mnet.
Yes.
And it's one of the first, like probably one of the first from Botswana.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys, you've answered the calling. Like we've been saying, we're subscribing, but where's our local content?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's the film? Just take us through the film.
So yes, last year MultiChoice put out a call out to Botswana, for 3 productions. Written and to be worked on by Botswana, 100% by Botswana, save for post-production, which is happening remotely. But I submitted a concept that I've been working on since I was at MultiChoice Talent Factory in 2019, funny enough, and I've just been revising it and fixing it. Just a note to all filmmakers, like, you don't need to rush things. I think this is something that the story has taught me, is like, there's no need to rush it. Just because you start working on something today doesn't mean you need to be done by tomorrow. Sometimes some projects are short term and some projects will take 8 years to complete. And it's, I guess it's taken 5 years for Mokwalo to actually come to life. So yes, I finally secured the funding for it as one of the 3 productions that will come out of Botswana. 5 of us, I think 5 of us on set were Multi-Choice Talent Factory alumni, and I think it shows in the final work, because at least I think Multi-Choice has poured into us and we poured into this production. So it does show that the level of investment that Multi-Choice has been having along the years in Botswana and in Africa, African storytelling, I mean, is going to start showing, especially for Botswana, now that we finally found space on the channel. On the platform. So we're going to be on Mzansi Bioscope, which is channel 164. Movie is set to be released next month. I think dates will be communicated soon. But essentially the story is about so a lot of my stories are really about my life. That's the only thing I know, and I believe that you should always write from a place of understanding and write about things that you understand, because when you're lying, the story doesn't become believable. You know, when you're coming up with things from nowhere, it doesn't become believable. But when you're being honest, universal truths always come to the surface, and people can relate on multiple levels, right? So that's the film is about grief. It's about denial. It's about acceptance. Those are various stages of grief. My last production for Mnet actually was a Showmax production. 10-minute film for Showmax called Cradle, which was really more about that was when I had just lost my mom. So it was like a year after I lost my mom. So then the film was more about, you know, the fresh wound, the finding yourself in the desert, and I was experimenting then with a silent film. I just wanted to focus on picture and, you know, magical realism, and just play around with the themes in the film and not be so direct. I think maybe because at the time I hadn't come to acceptance of losing my mom, I tried to hide it under, you know, being stylistic. So now this film is also about grief and loss and losing my mom, but however, now I was able to just have the actual conversation, to scratch the wound, and talk about it, and we managed to put together a 52 minutes film. From 10 minutes to 52 minutes, it was quite a learning curve, especially because we had about 5 days to shoot, which was absolute not chaos, but isn't all production chaos, beautiful chaos. So it was actually very, very interesting. And it happened at a time where I had a lot going on. I had work at YTV, I had training with Botswana Ignite, I had to work on this projection for Mnet. So when I say I'm tired, I'm actually very, very tired. I'm very, very fatigued. But I guess this is why people say when you pray for things to come, when you pray for blessings, ask God to also prepare you, because sometimes you're going to need a lot more stamina than you think you'll need. But I got through it. We finished, and it's looking good.
So it's playing on the Cradle was playing on Showmax.
Cradle was playing on Showmax, yes.
So you also wow. So you're a woman of many firsts. Probably like the first production in Botswana to play on Showmax.
Yes, actually, yes, one of. I think there has been one. That was initially was a busy. But I think there have been productions, maybe not commissioned by Mzansi Bioscope, but I think there have been productions from Botswana. I remember one that was commissioned for that Busy Magic, and I think some productions have played on Mzansi Bioscope.
No, quite interesting. So before we talk further about the film industry in general, I want us to talk about the film which is coming out next month. So who were you working with? Because I understand there's big names there.
Yes, I was working with who is someone who I've worked with for a while in film and in making TVCs in Botswana. Since we graduated from the Multi-Choice Talent Factory together, we actually graduated same year at MTF, graduated same year at AVJA. She was my co-producer, and our line producer, and then co-director was Zeus Deuce. Shout out to Zeus.
Zeus the rapper.
Yes, the rapper.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. Zeus Mzansi, yes. So shout out to him also for lending us his creative eye. As I mentioned, there were other MTF alumni on the project. Our co-writer is Larnadi Chaba, who is also alumni. Our first AD is also alumni at MTF. And two of our, I think Kumiso is also, she was handling wardrobe. She's sorry, not after, but yeah, I think she's after and MTF alumni.
Okay.
I think, there were a few of us.
I was working with Zeus because his whole experience, like his whole traveled and his passion when it comes to film.
I think, I mean, it was any production. And the honest truth is that when you're on set, there are times where, you know, your creativity just blends beautifully, and there's times when, you know, there's a little bit of friction. But I think we managed it well because there was a level of mutual respect between he and I. We did understand that this was the responsibility at hand, telling the story the way it should be told, and we gave each other grace, which was thematically. You know, on set, we were like, guys, give each other grace, like, don't yell, don't do this, don't do that, hold space for one another and all of that. So naturally on set, especially when you're under pressure, there'll be friction, but I think we maintained a level of respect for each other's eye.
Okay.
And because the movie was so heavy, there were scenes that I just couldn't direct, and I'll just be like, yo man, please handle this one, I need to go, time out. Yeah. So there was that, like I'm saying, that appreciation of one another, and just like, what we brought to the production.
Okay, so which actors you guys did you work with?
We worked with a very, very powerful cast. Okay, well, we have a cameo that I don't know if I want to. When is this coming out? Because maybe
this is coming out this week.
Okay. We have a cameo role that's a surprise. But I won't mention it. It's international.
I know the president.
Yeah, but you can't. Maybe it's already the secret's out the bag, but I'd like Botswana to just be like, because she brought so much magic to the production, and so much prestige and like, you know, weight that I think we all appreciated and were humbled by, and is why a lot of us worked extra hard to make sure that we don't disappoint someone of such stature. But even in our local actors were an all-star lineup. Like our two leads were Latoya Muji, who's a young lady who is absolutely phenomenal. Like when I say the directing was really just mostly blocking, just telling people go there, maybe briefing them on where they are mentally and here and there. But there were such naturals on set. It was such a beautiful experience working with actors like our Botswana actors are actually really
Which other Botswana actors were there?
It was Latoya Muji, there was Loretta Meokwe. I don't know if you remember her from Moralela.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Chef's kiss. She was such a, yes. She's such our crew was full of young people, right? So we were very, very open to giving each other, sharing ideas and all of that. And she was one of those people who contributed beyond what was expected of her. You know, she'd tell us, okay, no, I actually have this suggestion and this suggestion. You know, I really tried to make sure that everybody on set had some level of ownership of the film. That it was their story as well to tell. So the floor was open for suggestions, and then whoever's role it was to deliver would decide if they take the suggestion or not. We had Pefa Paya, who's also a phenomenal actor. He was actually in the Zambezi magic production that I was telling you about. That came out a few years ago, I think around 2021, somewhere there. He's absolutely amazing. I mean, he's worked in SA, he's worked on so many levels in Botswana and so many professions in the film space. And then we had, those are our three leads. I mean, we also had the rest of our crew. Everybody was just really, really great to work with.
So with so much talent in your production, where you guys been funded?
Yes, we were being funded.
Okay.
This was commissioned by Mnet. Fully commissioned by Mnet, so they did fund us, yes.
So everyone was paid?
Everybody was paid.
With one program was when the production is...
they don't run those things.
And then we had no Masego
This was not the kind of gig that you want to play around with or fumble with. And we appreciate that from Mnet, working with Mnet, knowing that they also don't want those stories, you know, and also on our end trying to make sure that we don't give them stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fully a commitment.
So you also paid, like, you got your bag?
No, we're not done with production yet.
Okay.
So yes, we have been paid as per the work that we've delivered.
Okay.
So we're not done yet, and by the time we're done, we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned big names, Oloretta, Efopaya, Olosto, you, and other people.
Yes.
With a lot of talent, but how come our content, our productions, like, they hardly, like, penetrate to the regional, international market?
I always
know the local television.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I believe it's a marketing thing on our end. I don't think we invest a lot in marketing. Because, I mean, our film industry is largely for tenderpreneurs. For the majority, it's tenderpreneurs.
What do you mean by that?
People buy you know, you're just hoping that you can get a bag, and once you get your bag, you're done. You know, it can take up to a year or more to get paid for some work that you've done, you know. So by the time we get paid for it, you're not even interested in marketing, not just yourself as a filmmaker, but also the films and all the productions themselves. So I think just for someone like marketing, we don't care about like Facebook pages like that, creating social media platforms for our productions. We're not interested in that. I really don't understand it. You can even see it in the quality of our trailers sometimes and our promos. You're like, is this really selling us? Are we really interested in selling ourselves? Because then you'd understand the importance of electronic press kits, making sure that we do press runs and all of those things. You know what I mean? It's the marketing is very, 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 very important. We cannot build an audience without marketing. And unfortunately, no matter how many productions you put out, to get to the audience, you have to market the work. So yeah, I think there's just there's a gap between the producers and the audience, even locally, not just internationally. Even locally, there's a huge gap. People don't know who's doing what. People don't know our local filmmakers, and I think that's largely because we don't market our stuff.
Okay, someone who's experienced, who's been in the field for quite some time, like, can you just like give us a few tactics, like explain like how can you market film production when it's already packaged and stuff like that? How do you make it appealing to the audience?
Well, I mean, for one, the starting point is our trailers. You know, promo work, artworks. You know, you have to invest in that as well. It shouldn't be an afterthought. When you're shooting, you should have a plan for what your trailer is going to look like. For each episode, if it's like a 13-episoder, for the whole thing, promos are very, very important. Like in SA, there are people whose jobs are promos only. That's how important promos are. So we shouldn't take it for granted. Press runs, your newspapers, your radios, your TV shows. Let's make sure that we push press runs. Let's get on Film Freeway and get on and apply for film festivals and sell ourselves, because we don't even try. Like film festivals, only a handful of people actually attend film festivals, but there's so many on Film Freeway that are free, literally. I don't even know if this week, Konana, there's the Bantu Film Festival. You know, are we going? Have we submitted our films? Things like that. There's so many like low-hanging fruit or low-hanging fruit as far as like tools that we can use to market ourselves that we're just not even trying to utilize. But obviously, even social media is free. You know, it's so easy for you to shoot yourself at an event, right, and share. It's easier to do that than to just shoot yourself on set and share that. I don't understand the psychology behind it. We should be just as excited about our work, which is passion for most of us. We should be just excited about our work as we are about our social lives. Yeah.
Because the reason why I'm asking this, I have a friend of mine called Donald Lucy.
Yeah.
This year he produced a film which is doing quite well overseas. It's featuring Kauli Kari and Mzansi.
Yeah.
Locally, we haven't seen that film, and from the look of things, it seems like there isn't even enough support, like from the relevant stakeholders. Do we have like enough support for us to penetrate and grow this industry?
Yes and no. I'll start with the no. No, it's one of those which came first, the egg or the chicken, you know? Because you need to be able to have, for corporates, especially for corporate investment, you need proof of concept, right? Before they can invest in you. But at the same time, as creatives, we need that investment first to grow ourselves to a place where we can actually have strong proofs of concept. So it's just fun. It's that cycle. You know, we need each other, but we're all afraid to like take the risk. But some corporates do hop on board. I mean, MultiTrace has been supportive of at least of my career, and Boratos and all MTF alumni and other creatives, honestly, in the film space from Botswana for a while. I know other brands are now starting to tap into that. But I think there's obviously a lot more to be desired. There's a lot left to be desired. But like I'm saying, kind of proof of concept. And corporates will never ever deny you. I mean, if you think it like this whole Wodemaya debate that's happening on social media right now, he has proof of concept. You know, he has the numbers, he has the data. He actually has, he can show you a document that says, listen, this is how I can actually convert. Because corporates are looking for conversion. It's not just to be out there. So even if you have 1 million viewers and whatnot, the issue with corporates is that they want actual conversion, not just views. So there's things like that where I think we need to work on our proof of concepts a bit more, and that starts with us starting to market our work first. And then the people will come and the corporates will come knocking on doors.
Alright, so when you're saying the conversion, you're typically saying that content is currency.
It is, and especially now when we've become so digital, it genuinely is. I mean, if you look at us, we were actually able to, I think Bonata and I have managed to build brands where we can actually, and relationships, because relationships are very important as well. Yeah, it's people trust you because they know you. So also just building our brands and building relationships and rapport, such that we were able to get sponsorships here and there for this production. You know what I mean? From your Bokomos, shout outs, from Urban Soul, we were able to partner with What's Word. You know, that's all that comes. It was easy to get those things because of, you know, how we built a proof of concept, how we've said, oh, we've done this before, and we show it daily. Like when I come knocking on your door, I'm not a fresh face, I'm not a new face. You actually have seen about my work on whether it's social media and the newspapers or something. So it makes it much easier. But like I'm saying, it starts from marketing, and if you brand and market yourself well enough, it will make your life easier.
You raised the Wodemaya issue. What's your take?
I think he's a travel vlogger and he's doing exactly what he does for a living, you know, and shout out to him. I think sometimes as Botswana we're like, oh my god, we've been asking for these opportunities and why are they being given to other people? That's a fair argument, right? But another fair argument is that when other people from outside of Botswana support our people, it's okay. You know what I mean? When I as myself, for example, hypothetically, if I should go and get an opportunity in Ghana, that would be an issue for Botswana, right? It would actually be like, wow, you're international, right? So other way around, the same way as like we want our people to be able to go out there and flourish, other people will come in and we must create space for them to help us flourish, because it's a symbiotic kind of relationship. I think now that brands like BTO have seen the importance of social media and all of that, and they actually BTO has supported a lot of creatives in that space. You know, I know I've got this guy who travels around the country. Why did I forget his name?
The one who vlogs with police.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and it's like you yourselves, Botswana, are not liking and faving and actually encouraging the local Botswana who BTO has employed to do this work. You're not giving them the numbers. Are you really pushing their numbers? Because we the people are the ones who are complaining again. Remember, we're complaining about Wodemaya, but do you know that there are also local social media content creators who have been employed by BTO to create similar content? So I guess something is a proof of concept that we need. The data will always speak more than, you know, feelings and opinions.
Okay, so in other ways you're saying we love complaining, but we don't support our own.
No, we don't support our own.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we should let's assist our own. let's show up to shows and help local creatives build stronger proofs of concepts. Let's like and engage with content more, local content more. Just the same way as we engage with the international content. You know, Wodemaya, everybody is like raving about the content. And the thing about social media is it's one of those love me or hate me platforms.
Yeah.
Like if you share complaining, it's still data. It's still a view, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's engagement. And that data is actually very, very important for brands. So yeah, if Masego posts that same way and I only get 500 likes, and then you guys go and like other people's content whilst on our side, who's really at fault?
It's me, the keyboard warrior.
Yes, it's the audiences. That's the thing about the creative industry is very, very heavily dependent on audience and audience measurement. So we depend on the audience. And the audience depends on us to give them content.
But the local audience, whatever like we can't produce quality content.
Which you know that's not true. That is actually not true. That is not true. Good hell, we want to hop on the bandwagon when it's already too late. You know what I mean? Like even right now, the support William he hasn't always been getting the support from Botswana. First of all, you know, suddenly now it's very convenient to give him support. After all the work he's done and having to leave the country and do X, Y, and Z, you know, we haven't been supporting him like that. And I think there are a lot of creatives locally who can tell you what they will try, raise money, do this, do that, do events. Because Ghana going to corporate is not the only way to raise money. The audiences can actually help you. The private individual audiences can help you raise money. But then you put you together maybe like a film screening or something and people don't show up. Like, are you going to be at the Bantu Film Fest to watch the local productions? Are you you know what I mean? Are we going to local film festivals? Are we? We're not. So how do you know that? How do you know? Are we watching? Are we engaging with the content?
It's more of like subjective opinions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not. Is it? Yeah. It's just opinions and feelings, but it's not. It's not facts. As someone in the creative space, I can tell you for sure that it's not facts. As someone who's working in agency, I can tell you it's not the truth. As someone who works in channel, I can tell you it's not the truth. It's just that we don't engage with our local platforms, and therefore.
Okay. Or are we failing to execute our own content?
No, I don't think we're failing to, unless you don't have the belief in yourself. I don't think there's anything I'm failing to do. I just think we do our best with the little that we have, with the little support that we have. We really do our best, and we do amazing work. As someone who's actually worked with international distributors, I can tell you on some platforms I look at the shows and I'm like, yeah, you guys accepted this level of quality. It's low because I've seen Botswana and what Botswana can do as far as production. But when they don't have that fear in them, because their people support them.
You support them.
Their people are like, okay, we understand you're starting, let's support you so that you can get to a stronger place. So no, I don't think the issue is in any industry. There are people who are amazing, and then there are people who are average, and then there are people who are not that great. In any industry, not just the creative industry, even if you're farming, you're what, you're this, you're that, you're that. But that doesn't reflect the ability of the industry across the board. And I think we're actually very, very capable. The people who are working hard, like, you know, like how you were saying at the beginning, like we don't even get rest done because we're all just trying to gather as much as we can just to get by. So yeah, I don't think we're failing to deliver. I think the only thing we're failing on is marketing ourselves to the audiences, and I think the audiences also they're also stakeholders, you know. The audiences must start looking at themselves as stakeholders in the creative industry, and understand that there's nothing we can do without their support. And people will leave. I mean, I know Jordan Muzi is done with us because we failed him. That's so many artists who we fail on a regular basis that who are amazing. I've gone to shows and seen it empty and not understood why. You know, there's so much undeniable talent, not just in the film industry. And I really try to not just focus on supporting filmmakers, whether it's musical artists, whether it's art, paintings and drawings, whether it's dance. I always try and show up for other creators because I understand the importance of supporting other people and being part of the audience and being able to give them some level of feedback on their work.
Okay, because calling it support, like it's very controversial, even when it comes to music.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we have an all local lineup, there will be like 15 people.
Yeah.
It will be their relatives and girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you call Chris Brown, the ticket is 5,000. People go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it keeps me wondering, is it the quality or it's not interesting content? Or
that's actually an interesting argument that you bring up there, because like I'm saying, the complaining we're really great at, but like do we really support our own? Like for example, South Africa, you can't deny the level of quality of their productions, you know what I mean? And they're artists. Let me say artists because I'm going to use analogy artists. Artists in South Africa don't sell out within a day. In South Africa, they do not. But Chris Brown sold out within a day and he had to add an extra date. So this is not a pandemic. Botswana, it's everywhere. People always support the proof of concept is stronger for international players always, because we the people don't give our local creators the same hype. We don't hype our own as much. We really don't. Like do you know that KBL has put together, we're complaining about corporate supporting locals. KBL has a whole project called Hype the Homegrown. And then if you go on social media, we're not even engaging with that content. We're not engaging with the content. But there's so much there, and then you complain that hey, you could the heavy stuff with our locals. We're not giving them the data and the numbers that they need. So it's just one of those things where one depends on the other. Yes, we need the support, but also it's like, do we have the data though? Do we have the numbers like that?
Okay. Okay. I'm quite interested. Okay, let's stay out of the controversy.
Yeah.
So outside film, like you always share about your personal journeys and episodes.
Yeah.
You're about to take a heavy breath.
Yeah, I just Yeah.
No, just count down, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. You never shy away to talk about your depression episodes, mental health and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, is there something that like maybe happened in your life at some point which led you to this?
Yeah. I think it's been a build-up of a lot of things over time.
Yeah.
Childhood trauma. My parents got divorced when I was very, very young.
Yeah.
There was a lot of looking out for myself emotionally that I had to do to sensitively that I was still a kid. And that made me a very calloused and angry child. But a lot of healing happened and continues to happen, especially after I lost my mom, because that one really rocked. That rocked my life. And just recently I found out that I think I was working out, I had spread myself out too thin work-wise, and I realized that was a trauma response. It's almost like running away from your feelings. You're overworking yourself to try and avoid your feelings. And I had a mental breakdown, when was it, 2 months ago? Yeah, I had a mental breakdown. And I just needed to go and ask for help. So, I always talk about my mental health. And you'll be shocked at how many people will DM me and say, you know what? That validated my experience, thank you. And now I know I'm not crazy. And you won't believe how, even when I hear it from other people, when people say to me, oh, I went through X, Y, and Z, it helps me in my healing journey, because it also makes me feel like, okay, I'm not crazy, I'm not nuts. I think because we've made mental health conversations shameful, so to speak, or we wanted to, for the most part, we want people to appear as always all right. People suffer alone and people suffer in silence, and people only want to talk about their happy days and then hide in the darkness on their bad days. And I get it, I grew up, but just come on, just keep it together. But that thing called keeping it together is why I had a breakdown. I had delayed grief. So for 5 years I've been holding on to my grief and not actually just letting go of my mother, so to speak. So it was delayed grief, and then I overworked myself, and then I ended up having just general cognitive fatigue. I couldn't think or function anymore. It's a crazy feeling. It's almost like mental paralysis, because you almost kind of lose your it's cognitive fatigue. Like you almost kind of lose sense. It's almost like you're going crazy. You feel like the walls are, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like the world is crashing down internally. But I sought help, and I think I'd like to encourage more creators to seek help, because I promise when we were on set for Mokwalo, because it's such an emotional film, by the end of the production, people were breaking down left, right, and center, because now we had unopened so many wounds that people had just kind of like covered, put plasters on, and not addressed, and not had conversations about. So for me, it's mental health is a big part of my journey as an individual, but also as a filmmaker. I think it's my responsibility to bring up these conversations in my work, because everybody has what anchors them and what drives them, and not for me. What drives me is one, learning, but also sharing my learnings with people as I go, because I understand how it is to be in the dark and figure it out. I don't think everybody needs to just figure it out from scratch. So it's a big part of what I try and incorporate into my creative work, sharing perspective.
Okay, so at which stage do you realize that you are depressed? You mean like the day, or like how do I feel it? The beginning of it, like when you...
Yeah. So I mean, depression is just it's like a sadness. It's like a deep sadness, right? You just feel, and it can manifest in various ways. For me, it was just general procrastination. I just couldn't do a lot of things. Sometimes it can be like self-care, like your house is a mess all the time, and you're like, this is so overwhelming. Or how you talk to people, or how you treat yourself, or how you communicate, or lack thereof. It can be various things. But I think depression is for me is a continuous. Let me not say depression. I think grief for me is something that's a part of who I am, right? And sometimes I do get depressed a bit. And then what happens is sometimes there's days of depression where I get very, 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 very anxious. So sometimes I get anxiety attacks, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the darkness. How am I going to get out? And then I panic. And you think you're sinking. It's like you think you're sinking, but you're actually not. It's such a mind... I can't say it this word right, but it's like such a mind trick. It's a mental trick. It's like depression and anxiety are such lies, because once you get out of it, you're like, wait, why did I think I was in quicksand? I was just fine. So for me, it's when it starts feeling like I'm sinking, and I can feel the panic, and sometimes it gets so overwhelming that it's paralyzing.
You spoke about seeking help. So what kind of help did you seek? Because some people think that maybe
I mean, to be honest, to each their own, right? Whatever works for you. Now I don't judge anybody, because we come from different backgrounds and you have different faiths, and that's okay. But I think on any level, meditation is very important. Prayer, for me, meditation is prayer. That's the equivalent. Prayer, making sure that you're always centering yourself. There's something that you center yourself around. The universe, God, Madimu, Mudimu, whatever it is. You need that. You need to meditate. You need to be able to look inwards and reflect and ask and balance yourself. But that doesn't always work. Sometimes you just need to go to see a therapist and get professional help, because you think you understand things, you think you understand how the world works, but that's an outward projection. Sometimes you need someone to look at you inside. Just like how you go to the chemist or you go to the doctor and you go and ask for help because you understand that you can't heal yourself from within. I think with mental health, you just need to go and see a professional. At some points, you just absolutely just can't avoid seeing a professional because there's blind spots for me. I would not have seen them if it wasn't for therapy. I would have just been still angry and felt very entitled to my anger and not realized what it was killing me from within. And just not understanding. Like right now I can ask for grace from my friends and my family because I understand what's going on. I can look back at something and say, oh, I'm so sorry about that. This is what triggered that. I know my triggers now. If I didn't go to therapy, I wouldn't know what my triggers are. I'm able to reel myself in, when I see something coming. I can avoid things. But sometimes it's too late and I'll still go back to therapy. And I also don't think there should be shame, medication for your mental health. And I'm not talking alcohol because it's self-medicate. But you need a professional to tell you what you need because there's so many different types of effects of these things, right? Sometimes what you think is anxiety isn't anxiety, it's something else, and there's a pill for that. There's a pill that treats temperature. When your temperature is high, there's medication for that. There's medication for runny nose, there's medication for a cough, a dry cough, but these are all symptoms of flu, right? So there's similar with mental health, there's symptoms of depression and you treat them in different ways, you don't treat them the same way. So I think it's very, very important for us to just like have these conversations more, one, and two, just don't be embarrassed just to drive up. I woke up one day and I just drove myself. I just started making calls to therapists and said, yo, I need help right now, I need help. Okay. And I went.
Alright. And then you mentioned grief. You lost your mom. Probably at a young age.
No, I was 26, but it was still daunting. Very, very daunting. Yeah.
So how do you manage to cope with grief?
I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I think I have good days and bad days, and that's just it. Yeah. I don't cope.
You mentioned something interesting. You said something called delayed
grief. Yeah.
Which a lot of us live with, but we're not aware.
Yeah. I as soon as my mom passed away, I don't know what in my mind made me assume that I had to be there to take care of my family. I'm not even the firstborn, but I took it upon my shoulders, and that for me I robbed myself of the opportunity to just be a child and just cry and just be my mother's child. I didn't allow myself to just be my mother's child who just lost her mother and just cry. I assumed a role and then started operating from that position. So I never was able to just mourn. I was like, okay, we need to do this, that, and that. I need to make sure that this and this and this is going like this properly, how she would want this and that. And I never afforded myself time to just sit and be a daughter, a woman, a young woman who lost her mother. I don't think I ever allowed myself to be that. So I think in that, I've always had tension. I've always carried the tension. And the thing about the body is it manifests what you're feeling inside. And you will feel it. You can feel it sometimes. I don't know if you felt like how stress feels. You can feel it. And one day your body just says, I'm done with carrying this thing. We're shutting down, and your mind just starts to shut down. So for me, that's what happened.
Okay. A lot of people are going through all these things. I can personally say that I lost someone that I loved so much. That was 24 years ago. So it just clicked to me now. So which means I'm suffering from delayed grief and stuff like that.
It's very possible.
Especially with men, like Khatemi doesn't cry.
Exactly, and I don't know why It's unfortunately society has robbed you guys. Which I think I don't know that I'm saying it's a fact. Maybe that's why some of these men are angry. 100%. Yes, nobody should be excused for their actions, but like I was saying, even I grew up with trauma and I became a very angry and very volatile young woman. I started out very, very angry, and I felt entitled to my anger until I went to therapy. Then you realize, well, no, I'm not an angry person. I just have anger because there's trauma that I haven't dealt with myself. So I think I think men should be given, and I think men should give men room to be vulnerable, because I think you guys are also your biggest enemy, because any vulnerability from other men, you guys will be like, why is he so soft there? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, moving away from depression, grief, and all emotions. You're currently the head of content, OITV.
Yes.
TV station which is currently on multi-choice.
It's on multi-choice, yeah. So free to air and on multi-choice.
Yeah. So I'll openly say this, like your arrival at the station, like, changed a lot of things. Like, you can now see there's something happening, quite happening. Yeah. So what's your job in that?
Yeah, so my job is literally to bring in content, right?
To curate, to produce.
To create, and I actually do produce, because we now have a morning show that I produce and direct.
Yeah.
But also to bring in content, if that means licensing of content, if that means finding partners for content, if that means, briefing for content. There's just content in general. So it's basically a nutshell filmmaking, from your briefing, similar to agency level, to your producing, to buying, purchasing if there's rights to buy, and things like that. Just making sure that we have enough content on the platform. It is a challenge, although, I must say, because we're a private TV station, right? And we need capital. That's just it. Nobody's funding us. And selling space is not easy. Selling, especially with the advent of social media, we're competing with social media directly now. But I still think there's the data shows that there's still the bigger viewership of content in Botswana is still on channel. It's still on TV. That's just the reality. Not in Gaborone. Yes, Gaborone is a totally different animal in spoon, but Botswana still consumes content largely from radio and TV. So yeah, it's sort of those things where like corporates invest in content so that we can pay people, make the revenue to buy content and pay people. So it's just sort of those hard balances to strike, because we need content to bring in corporates, but we also need the corporates to bring in the content. It's a daily struggle, but what shall we do?
Now after this episode, like, you'll come through running. No, but I would like to, I like your breakfast show, but I would like to criticize it a bit.
Okay.
Like, it's flowing properly, but there's one element missing the breakfast show.
Yes.
Like, I think you should up the current affairs segment.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it needs a punch.
Yeah. So we have current affairs shows. That's something that we also try not to do, not to make content leak into one another, right? Also, we genuinely wanted our morning show to feel like a breath of fresh air, especially now where there's just so much going on. We wanted to feel like a breath of fresh air, but still also be socially relevant as to the zeitgeist of the time or the week or the day, but we wanted to feel fresh. So there is a level of current affairs that we do leave for other shows. We have your white grinds, there's so many other shows that are very, very heavy and very, very, as far as current affairs, our social media is mostly current affairs. So it's one of those things where we're trying to strike a balance. How do you wake up with someone in the morning? How do you wake up with them? We just got, if we're coming back from the news, are we going to now give more news on the morning show? So it's a deliberate choice to try and keep it light. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for those that are watching, that producing content and stuff like that, if they want to bring content, are you the go-to person? I'm not talking for myself.
You're about to get me in trouble, because now people start hitting me up. It's too late for me. But yes, because people already are, and I really, really appreciate it, because just recently we had a call out. Submissions for licensing. We have a partner called Africa XP. By Longpore, the distributor, content in Africa, right? So the agreement was that, and it still is, that we collect content and give it to them to see what they can put on their catalog and sell to other platforms across the continent.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing. We opened in July or June and closed in August. and we're still like sieving through the content, because Botswana really are hungry,
for content.
For not just for content, but the producers want the content to be seen, and so people want to monetize. The only unfortunate reality is that here and there we've had to explain to people what licensing is. So we've also realized that there's a general lack of education on the difference between commissioning and licensing. Because you ask someone for a licensing fee and they give you a figure that looks like they're asking you to commission. And you're like, do you understand the difference? There's a lot of education that's still lacking in that department as far as our local producers. But we're slowly trying to change the narrative. And just share with people listen, unless a platform is funded or fully funded, it works internationally, works via licensing or sales revenue splits. And sales revenue splits are very tricky, because if we don't make nothing, you don't make nothing, and then nobody benefited. So we're trying to go the licensing routes, and something that we are working on right now is kind of figuring out which content we're taking away. And there's actually content that a lot of people are very interested in. You can see the kind of content that the international market is hungry for, because the content that they are like saying bring, let us link us with the producer, this and that is very local content. And when I say local, I mean something that looks very Botswana. Yeah, they want Botswana stories that just have a clean picture. That's this. People are not interested in us copying or mimicking anything else. They want especially drama, the tourists, the stuff that is very Botswana, tells Botswana and Botswana, that sells that's the content that the international market is looking for. Unfortunately, music doesn't move. Music shows and talk shows don't move as fast. But it's what a lot of people have submitted talk shows, because they're very easy to they are very easy to make.
Okay. No, we'll say so. After this, like you guys will be getting a lot of submissions.
We're not open. We're still sorting out. Let's. I hate to guest please.
But I want to DM.
But send it DM. But there's people are still emailing, and I'm like, guys, we'll make another call out, because now it means we'll never finish.
But I think those ones, but they come in the name of business. But when I like cherry.
Nobody has. First of all, I made sure that I really try and avoid sharing my personal details with people. So fortunately, what we had in Nagoya thing was we have a submissions portal. It's actually still open for music videos and stuff. So people were submitting online or via the submissions email.
Okay.
So you only get responses from the submission email, not from me.
So what I'm saying is, there's some who like inbox you. Okay, it's like they inbox you or they drop your WhatsApp. Like, hi, myself, I want us to talk about like this, about business and stuff like that. And then you buy in. And then the next thing, the guy is like, I also was trying to tell you that as well. Like, I'm continuing my feelings for you.
No, not so far as my work, is related. I haven't received those kind of DMs from anybody. That wants any work-related stuff. I think I've managed to... I don't know, just from work, from an industry, I think I've managed to build something on a level of respect or appreciation that nobody would want to put themselves in that position with me.
Okay.
So I'm fortunate that nobody from work or anybody who wants to deal with me professionally does that with me.
Okay. No, okay, it's fine. Okay, lastly, before we close, so what's next for Masego?
I want to rest.
You have to make a medium.
No, wait, I need to rest. I'm so tired.
Life begins at 40, so you still have some years to go.
I just have a lot of years to go. But I think I want to take the rest of the year off just to rest.
This coming year?
The rest of 2024 now is for rest. I'm just going to focus on one thing, which is YTV. I think I've pushed a lot of work this year, and it's enough. And now I'm satisfied with the amount of work that I've put in. I mean, it's October, there's only 2 months to go, so it's okay. And I have to keep reminding myself that okay, no, it's fine, you've done enough. Because I'm the kind of person who I get over my achievements very quickly. Like I achieve something and I'm like, okay, what's next? I'm a very what's next, okay.
I like the
like right now, my brain its instinct is to say, okay, let's start working on that next project. But I'm like, no, you haven't even finished this project.
Yeah.
You know, one at a time, please, otherwise you'll collapse. So I'm just gonna take the rest of the year off and just like work for YTV only.
Let's hope you keep that promise to yourself.
I hope so as well. Yeah. There's 2 more months, so you know. Also, there's always stuff in development. Like any creative, any filmmaker, I would say always have like 3, at least minimal 3 pitch decks on standby, because you never know. And always be revising your work, always be fixing your work. So that stuff, yes, it'll still happen behind the scenes. But as far as like going out to field to shoot, going out to TV to work,
you're not doing that.
I'm tired.
And then when I start planning on starting the family project?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You mean building a family?
Yeah, building a family. Getting married, building a family. Family, yeah.
I don't know. Hey, these things are difficult conversations. I don't know. When God wills it. Yeah, when God wills it. I don't not trust Him. I trust Him a lot. So if this is the season God says is for work, then let this season be for work. When it changes, I will see that it's time for family. But for now, my focus is the work that I have now, helping out my family, my already existing family, you know, my siblings, my father. I have family.
The reason why I'm asking is because I know a lot of brothers which can put like a silivero out on that finger.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah. But what do people talk?
I don't think we talk about it.
Nah, they do talk. You know that there's a lot of brothers actually. We know it. Yeah.
How would I know that information?
Apparently women know, like when you see a man that like, no, this one likes me, but I don't like him.
No, the thing about it is also it's never for certain. Nothing is for certain. Like I don't believe in assumptions. So sometimes there's a difference between attraction and just like someone being serious, right? So yes, it's not like people don't approach me, but I don't know if it's like that serious. I don't think it.